Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Cat, the RPG written by John Wick, but not that John Wick,
That's John Wick.
right? I think it is that John Wick just in disguise as another John Wick to be,
Yeah.
super meta about it. Except for this one is don't mess with my cat and not my dog.
I love it.
So real quick, I'm Jeremy Hochhalter, and I run and operate this here channel as well as Wanderers Haven Publications, where I do micro-publishing and publish TTRPG material. You can find me on the interwebs at WHPubs on Twitter and other places that I can't think of right now. And here on Twitch at Wanderers Haven. Let's do a quick go around and introduce our players. Tell us who you are, where to find you on the interwebs, and who you are playing today. Why don't we start with John today?
I am John, and I am playing a cat. A very large cat. Who is known by humans, and not just known, but adored. By humans, all humans, of course. Mr. Winston Churchill. Yeah, he lives a bit bigger.
To cats, you are known as
Chairman Meow.
Chairman Meow. Perfect.
Yes.
And
Yes,
each
yes.
cat in this game also has a secret name, but we don't know any of your secret names, nor do you know each other's. Guard those names well, because if the Boggins find them, well, then you have to go get a new name, because they have power over you then. Anything else?
Oh, there.
Yeah, find you on Instagram at Distillosaurus Rex.
Oh, yes. You can mostly find my dog.
Right.
On Instagram at Distillosaurus Rex, but on occasion there's stuff about travel and whiskey and general drinking of adult beverages responsibly. Drinking of
Responsible.
Of adult beverages.
Perfect. Mick, why don't you tell us about yourself, where to find you on the internet, and who you are playing today?
I'm Mick. You can find me at twitch.tv/McTastic. I am playing Tiger/Cheese. I think that's about it.
Cool. And you are a housemate of Adela's character, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, speaking of your housemate then, Adela, tell us about yourself, where to find you on the internet, and who you are playing today.
All right. I am Adela Perez. You can find me on BellaBeeClothing.com for the actual website that I sell things that I make with my hands. I'm also on the Twitterlators. That's BellaBee Now. And then, of course, there's some Instagram-y things in there under Craft Ninja 1216, because I'm a crafty one. I am... I like to make things with my hands and be like a ninja.
Right.
Oh my god, I need sleep.
Once you start
Wow.
crafting with your feet, though, that's going to be amazing. Like a
Then
ninja.
that is worthy. That's worthy of maybe a YouTube channel. I will be playing Fluffers, MacGyver.
That's right.
You may call me MacGyver. Fluffers has an adorable little tactical backpack that has all kinds of amazing little things and trinkets that we can pull out and do amazing things with. Fluffers is loved by the family, mostly by their child that likes to carry Fluffers around in kind of like a death lock and just loves on Fluffers all the time. It of course loves Fluffers, but Fluffers is maybe not so into that. The patting and the carrying and not being able to move. But, animals.
Right.
You gotta love it. Gotta love your owners.
So does anyone remember what happened last time?
We went to the dream,
Yeah.
and we had ourselves a fight with the nightmare.
There was a
and
tent
unleashed-
involved.
Whose
There was a
dream did you
tentacle.
go into?
we went into the misters
Oh,
of Queenie, the fabulous Queenie,
you got it.
and we did come out. We did bring him about,
You did.
but also his missus is lost to the sleep.
Current, and that is where we ended. So as you stretch and kind of work out the energy of that dream, which was, a little disturbing to you, but obviously to Queenie's dad here, it was nightmarish. And he is, shaking off the nightmare and is looking around, and he's tried to wake up the woman next to him, which you have gathered is Queenie's mom, and she doesn't seem to rouse. She's breathing. You've definitely noticed that, but he's shaking her gently and talking to her. Margaret, wake up, Margaret. And then I believe you ended because Fluffers or MacGyver, whichever you want to go with, you had decided to lay back down and go back into dream to try and pull her out. Is that? I believe that's where we wrapped up right there. Does that sound correct?
That sounds about right.
So it's a little shocking then when this fellow is all like, "What? Who is this?" And he like picks you up and like doesn't chuck you off the sofa, but just kind of like holds you over the edge of the sofa and then lets go. He's like, Queenie, we got to get rid of that stupid door that we put in. I knew I shouldn't have let her convince me to do this. And he's just kind of mumbling to himself, and he like shakes his wife one more time, and then he goes off, and you can hear him pick up the phone, and so you hear some numbers dialed. What do you do?
Wow. So I'm trying to go to sleep, but I didn't make it, or I
Right.
am asleep. And
Correct.
he,
You
okay,
you
I'm
did you
trying to
did
go to
not
sleep.
make it because he
Okay.
interrupted you pretty
Okay.
quickly, and he kind of was trying to shoo you all out the cat door. But
And so where is everybody else then? Are they also like being shooed out the door, or are they kind of hidden?
so the gesture was to kind of shoot everyone, but what did you all do? It seemed like it was
Uh,
kind of a half-hearted thing.
I want to scratch him before we go.
Okay. So like were you on the couch with MacGyver, and so like when he plops her off, you kind of give him a swipe?
Yeah.
Sure. Why don't you do a claws check for me?
Close.
And just to reiterate, since people might be tuning in for their first time, you have 5 traits. Each one is scored with a number 1 to 5, and you roll that many d6s. An even is a success, and an odd is a failure.
I got 2 successes.
Nice, easily enough to like scratch his hand like a little bit, like right at the knuckle on your wrist. I don't know what this is actually called. I think it's part of this bone, but I feel like this is your wrist knuckle now. It's official science. You're welcome. Uh, and that's part of why he drops MacGyver. He's like, "Ouch!" And he's like, "Get out of here, go on!" And kind of shoos you all. But then he goes off to the phone, and it's kind of a half-hearted thing. So if you decide to go with it, you can. If you run off the other way, he is not going to chase you down right at the moment. It seems his attention is elsewhere. Chairman Meow, what are you up to?
Still on that chair in my
Mm-hmm.
nest.
Just haven't moved.
No, no, you can't move a loaf. I am loafing. Um, and so I shall. I mean, I briefly consider trying to uh, loaf drop him, where you kind of like weave through their legs, and then they trip up, and try and like get the angle to where he hits his head. But
Right.
that would be kind of counterintuitive to the whole like waking him up, aspect. And given that him waking up doesn't wake the missus up, uh, I'm gonna just kind of slip back into the dream.
Okay. Why don't you make me a tail check? And as this is all happening, do MacGyver and Cheese head towards the door, or are you just kind of scattering, or what's your?
I'm Well, I think I would like to kind of hide, get as
Okay.
close as I can to misses and sort of hide, and then be able to drop into dreamland as long as everybody else is. I don't want to do this one alone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same. Just find a little spot and hop into the dream.
So as you're
Yeah.
dodging about, missing this guy shooing, and then he walks off, you do hear a kind of a jingling coming down the steps, and you see Queenie poke her head out from one of the railings. She's like, oh, was that my dad? Oh my god, excellent. She like runs down the steps. She's like, Dad, Dad. And she runs into the kitchen, and you can hear her, Dad, 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 Dad. And she's like, you can hear her rubbing on things in there. But as you come back and you jump up on the sofa to get resituated to slip back into dream, you notice that the mom is actually sitting up. Her eyes are closed, but there's some whitish mist kind of seeping through her closed eyes, like in between the lids, and like
Oh my
pouring down her
God, this is
face.
bad. This is so bad.
And who jumped up first?
Me.
All
I
right,
jumped
so
up.
MacGyver, as you jump up there and you notice this, like her head turns towards you, and her mouth opens, and some mist kind of drools out, and you hear that voice that you heard in the dream say, "Mine."
For pity's sake. You can't just leave people alone. MacGyver's miffed. MacGyver's gonna kind of jump down, but like go behind, be kind of hidden, and then try and get into Dreamland.
Okay. Uh, as you drop down, and Mick, you are, cheese is kind of up there, and that as that mist kind of broils out, you begin smelling that like rotten smell from the that you smelled both in Dream, but also in the apartment building above the bodega, where something weird was happening, and you managed to chase it off. It seems like this nightmare, which you've never seen a nightmare be able to express itself like this in the real world. It definitely is something you haven't noticed before. What would you do?
Hmm. Um. Does this mean that our powers work in the real world now, or
So you do have magic in the real world. It's just a little different than what's in Dream.
okay? I think I'm gonna jump down and kind of try to call over, Chairman Meow.
Yeah, I'll peep up from my nest,
As you peek up,
see what's going on.
you notice that the mom has not stood up yet, but is like slowly turning her face to like follow MacGyver's movements. And her eyes are closed, but there's mist drooling out of them and from her mouth as she's expressing ownership over this body, maybe? And there's like a kind of a jerky motion as she tries to stand up, and it's very like you can hear bones kind of pop like joints as she stands up, almost like she's unsure of how this body works.
Well, it seems like either she needs to be like body checked, or we need to get the other human in here. I don't know how much stronger she's going to be if she's possessed. So I'm going to, as I am a bard of the people, of my people, I think that's the reputation. Yeah, bard of the people. I'm going to make a very loud noise.
Okay.
Such a loud noise.
Is there a roll associated with that? Do you have a number next to it, or is it just part of your reputation?
It's reputation 2.
Okay, go ahead and roll those 2 dice and let me know if you have any successes.
Boop, boop, boop. Dice roller, go. 2 successes.
Nice.
4 and a 2.
So immediately, you hear scampering coming from the kitchen, and Queenie comes running in. She's like, "Oh, Mom, you're up! Excellent!" And she like jumps up on the back of the sofa and then plops down kind of next to her mom, where her mom is jerkily kind of getting up. And then she's like, "Holy shit! What the hell? What is wrong with her?" And she just jumps off the sofa and like runs over by and like hides next to the recliner that you're in. And then shortly after that, you hear the phone hang up and the human comes in. And, "Oh, Margaret, you're awake. Oh, excellent. What do you all do?"
Oh man, and he can't notice that there's something off with his wife.
So she's facing away from him currently.
Okay, so MacGyver is gonna kind of go over by him to see if she'll turn because she's clearly watching. So she's gonna kind of scamper past him. So she turns around.
Okay.
You can see.
So yeah, her face definitely follows MacGyver. Cheese, what are you up to? Mick, what is Cheese up to?
I think I'm gonna try to find a nice little corner or something and then see if I can go into the dream to deal with whatever's happening right now.
Okay. So yeah, there's like an entertainment center, and over in the corner there's like a plant that's set right next to it. But you can kind of sneak in behind that plant, and you notice that there are several fluffy toys that have been hidden back here. And Chairman Meow, are you also trying to slip away into Dreamland now that you have summoned the human, or are you waiting to see what happens?
Slip away. I'm in a awesome nest. I'm loafing.
Right?
I mean, moving right now, like, really, like we should conserve our energy. And by that I mean maybe lower a little bit, like a little bit lower into the nest, kind of further loaf, spread out a little bit. Yeah, melted loaf. We'll just kind of get the ears back just so that they're, not as noticeable.
What is this bread doing here?
I know, what? Just so that I can like keep an eye on what's going on, because I think at this stage it's best to observe this thing in action, because this is new, this is different, and it's just Queenie's parents, so it's fine. If this was happening, to our parents, that'd be a totally different issue. But this is a good laboratory to get a feel for what's happening.
Right. You claim no ownership over these humans, so you're gonna keep an eye on things from this like little nest that you created. Cheese is heading off to go into Dream, and MacGyver is pulling the mother's attention towards the father. About this time, the father's like, "What is that smell? Oh, that's horrible." And then as her face, continues to turn towards him, and it's more like her neck has been following you, and so her head doesn't turn all the way around, but it definitely turns further around than what looks comfortable. And he's like, "Oh, Margaret, what the hell?" And he like runs forward and grabs her by the shoulders, and he's like, "What is wrong? No, what is this?" And is trying to like wipe away the mist that's oozing out of her. Cheese, make me a magic check. Are you muted? I feel like you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Oh no, I was trying
Okay.
to look at my sheet to figure out what my magic was. I got 3
Your
successes.
Oh,
tail.
So,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite easy for you. You just kind of like hunker down and just close your eyes and focus, and it's less like a matter of falling asleep so much as just like willing yourself, and you just slip from the waking world into dream. What do you think this strange woman's nightmare would appear? What do you think she's afraid of most?
Hmm. Um.
Nordstrom's rack. Oh boy.
It was having the worst looking house in the neighborhood.
Gotcha. So you find yourself outside of this house, and it takes you a minute to realize it's like the same house as what the one that you came to earlier that Queenie lives in, but it's just like falling apart. It's dilapidated. Uh, the the shutters are falling off the windows. The paint, even though fairly fresh, is like this hideous, like weird avocado yellow, green, brown. In fact, it even looks a little chunky instead of like a solid color. The roof has holes in it. There's like 3 foot tall weeds, and there's just like dead animals in the weeds, but everything next to it just looks pristine. In fact, they look like nicer houses than what you remember coming up to and passing by on the way over here. And in here, inside, you can just hear this like pitiful moan, this sad, sad cry.
Oh,
What do you do?
I will investigate the
Okay.
crying.
How do you want to get into this house?
I want to look to see if there's the cat door that we came in, if it's here.
Okay. Yeah, so you go around the side of the house, and the fence, the line of the fence that separates the properties, it's weird because like the gate you had to jump over isn't even there. There's just like some chicken wire stretched across it, and it's all like bent up, so it's easily just to like slip through. And on this side, the fence looks just horrid. Like it has like peeling paint and pieces of wood that are sticking out of it, like big slivers and such. You go around the back, and the lawn is just dead. There's dirt patches sticking through. There's the concrete is all shattered, and there's like one of the sprinklers is just like spraying, like it's been broken and no one has fixed it. And you see that the door does have a cat door on it, but it's like a huge doggy door instead of the cat door, and it's made of just like that cheap plastic, and it's like started to disintegrate.
Okay, I'd like to go through.
Okay. Heading into the house, smells of garbage, just rank garbage, and underneath that you can smell the nightmare, that like weird kind of sulfuric smell, but on top of it, over it, is this overpowering scent of used cat litter, like stuff that you would never, like you would avoid it. You're just like, I'm not pooping in that. And rancid food, unwashed human, and you can see huddled up on the couch. So essentially, you're in the dining room, and on the other side of it leads into the living room area. You can see the top of a head, as there's a person with kind of dirty blonde hair, reminds you of the same color that the mother had, but it's just like kind of all sticking out and frazzled, and that sound is coming from over there.
Okay. I will continue heading in that direction.
Okay. As you do so, you realize that the house is kind of moving. Not so much in the way that it's like the walls are like lifting up and stuff, but it seems like the walls are kind of undulating and leaning in, almost like they're pressing towards not only you but this woman. And as they, if you get too close to any of the walls, that sulfuric nightmare smell sticks out even further. And as you get to the sofa, you definitely see that woman there. She's just bundled up in, like, huddled up on herself, sobbing quietly.
I will jump on the lady,
Okay.
like cats do.
So you could jump like on her back, like, 'cause she's huddled up, like you're gonna just land on her.
I'm just gonna
Sure.
jump on her.
Okay. Yeah, you easily like jump up there. She's not a moving target or anything, and she gives no response. And you notice that pooling out underneath her is this white mist that just reeks of that nightmare.
Hmm.
Why don't you think about what you want to do, and we'll go back to the waking world for a moment
Okay.
as MacGyver and Chairman Meow are watching the dad try to wake the mom here, and Queenie's just running around. She's like, "Mom, what's wrong? What's wrong?" And like she's like getting up and doing like making biscuits on her leg, but without her claws out, and she like jumps up on the back of the sofa and is like trying to push her and stuff and like nudge her awake. What do the two of you do?
I want to call out to, or now that the attention is with the dad, I'm hoping that her concentration on me has kind of gone away. And I've got Stealthy Paw for my reputation, so I'd like to try and get over by Chairman Meow and say like we should meet in Dreamland and then go behind the chair and try and fall asleep.
Okay. Why don't you, as you go behind the chair and curl up, make a tail check? Excuse me, tail check for me.
Tail check. Oh my gosh. Well, I got 2 successes and 3 denials.
That's all right. You just needed two to easily fall into this dream without actually going to sleep. You just close your eyes and will yourself. And as you wake up, you're in Queenie's room, but like everything is this weird, like really hideous brownish green instead of the pinks. There's like a bunch of rotten pink pillows that have like just kind of moldered away. There's rusted, like some collars that have rusted bells and all of that, and all of the what are they called? The little shiny things that spelled Queenie on her door have fallen off. There's just like a couple left, and there's actually a hole that goes like all the way through the ceiling and the roof, and there's like a little bit of rain dripping through.
Oh boy. I'm gonna try and go to the living room where I know that everybody was sitting on the couch. I'm
Okay.
gonna head that direction, thinking that it's gonna be the same.
Okay. So as you head that direction, you definitely hear from downstairs this kind of pitiful sobbing noise, and you come around the corner of the steps and look through the banister, and you see standing on this woman's back is Cheese.
It all seems right. Cheese is there to save the day. Seems accurate. Sigh of relief,
Right?
and then scuttle down the stairs to join.
Okay. So simultaneous to all of this, what is Chairman Meow doing?
I mean, part of me kind of wants to see what now happens now that the cat's involved with the little trio between Queenie's dad and Queenie's mom, who is not really Queenie's mom, but kind of is. It's confusing. And then the cat, Queenie herself, kind of in between the two of them. For science, of course.
Right,
But,
right. Science.
Science. But it's probably wiser to go into the dream to one, make sure that the other two don't get jumped by the red dot, and also because it's out there, but also to try and deal with this thing from the realm in which it exists.
Okay. Why don't you make me a tail check?
Fail. 3 successes.
Nice. You've gotten so loafed out here, it's quite easy to close your eyes and slip into dream. And as you wake, you actually are in the same chair. It smells pretty bad, and you're sitting more on like springs as the leather has just like degraded away, and the blanket that you were on is completely moldered and rotted away, and so you're not really comfortable any longer, but you are in the same spot. And in front of you see the mom, but she's like huddled up on herself instead of like sitting up on the back of the couch. And standing on her back is Cheese, and you can hear coming down the stairs another cat, which smells like MacGyver.
Now, in the dream, there's a certain number that you have to have with tail to not to create things, but to change things, correct? Create is a 6. And creating or manifesting things is a 6, but changing things is a 5, correct?
Let me double check. So you can alter something else, which is a 3. In this case, you could do, or like in the case of altering something, you can like make a clock face laugh, or a pig fly, or turn a candy bar into a flower. And so that's like turning something into something that it isn't, as opposed to, which is like you need more magic to do, as opposed to like making an alarm clock go off. That's a lesser magic. So with a 3, you can alter something. If you want to create something, that's a 4.
Creating is a 4.
Right.
Well, I don't want to create anything, but I do want to eliminate that smell, because that is offensive, and I like to work in an environment that is pleasant and smells like tacos. And so we shall change the smell. It doesn't have to be tacos, I suppose. Something neutral, like.
What is your tail like? What do you max out at?
I'm at 5.
Okay, go ahead and roll your 5.
Three successes.
3 successes. So you do change the scent in here, and it does smell like tacos in here for a few moments, but then it starts like the tacos start to smell like they're starting to go bad. Like the taco meat has already started to molder and grow things like little mushrooms and things, and so it becomes kind of this weird earthy rotten smell. Not quite as bad as the sulfur, but you feel like it's getting there quick. Like there's only so much that you can do in this nightmare as opposed to what you can usually do in a dream. It's a very powerful entity that could do that.
That is not good. We gotta get rid of this thing. Tacos are bae.
So as the 3 of you come together in the living room, the dream living room of this woman's nightmare, what do you do?
I feel like pooping on her is probably going to make her feel even worse because she hates the smells and the things.
Right.
And there's no way that smells good. Now, we were able to see an actual creature last time, therefore this time we're not able to see a creature. It seems like it's already like in her.
So you get the feeling like as you look, there's definitely like this white mist pouring out of her. It seems to be like more so than what you saw in the waking world. It's almost hard to see her body. You can see like the ratty clothes she's wearing, but from like the pores of her skin, this mist is just kind of oozing out, almost like it's possessing her dream instead of like being a scary part of it.
Right. So with magic, would I be able to make another little dot, little light?
Potentially, you can. What is your score on your tail?
So my tail is 5.
5. So you need to be able to. Your tail has to be legendary, which is a 6. So you have to like level up essentially in between games, and it takes a little bit for you to be able to get to a legendary tail. But because remember, it takes 6
Yeah,
points when you're at 5 to go to
yeah.
6. But what could you do instead? You could alter something to be. So essentially, you could turn over there. There's like some cat poop over there. You could turn that into a red dot instead of creating a red dot.
Sure, sure. Some cat poop. I would like to turn cat poop into a red dot.
Okay, so you'll roll your tail and let me know what you got.
All right. So I've got 2 successes and 3 not
All
denials.
right. So you struggle with it and you like focus on it and you can see it kind of start to glimmer a little, but then like the force of the nightmare just kind of pushes it away, and if anything that scent gets stronger and the odors of like the poop get stronger and the dirty litter box, and the mom just kind of
Oh boy. Um, hmm.
while this is all going on, Mick, what is Cheese doing on the mom's back?
Uh, I'm gonna look around and see if there's something that I could turn into a high powered fan or something to maybe get the mist out of here.
I mean, the way that I understand it, you could technically turn the window into a fan to like suck out the stale air or the gross smelling air. Do you want to try that?
Yeah, what would I would just need to roll the magic
Yeah, so you
or
roll your tail.
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. There's a flicker in the dream, and this window all of a sudden just, I mean, it looks like a window fan, like it was always there. And it slowly starts turning on, and like it starts screeching as it is, like there's something stuck in it. But there is a flow of air kind of pulling the the smell through, and because there's like holes in the walls and the ceilings and all that, it does pull air through from outside, and it smells. I mean, it's it isn't 100% better, but it's noticeably better.
Okay.
What would you all do?
Does she react to the air getting better?
Yeah, that like kind of pitiful moan uh, calms down a little. It isn't quite so prolonged and drawn out. And she takes a deeper breath. And if anything, you kind of notice that the seeping mist that's coming out of her lessens a little bit.
I think, well, I don't know obviously how difficult this might be, but I think Fluffers is looking for maybe some cleaning products to sort of spill on some grossness. So the scent is like fresh cleaning products.
Gotcha.
Um, I assume under the kitchen sink. Like quickly scamper to the kitchen sink,
Sure.
open it up, see if I can't.
Yeah, as you do
Still,
so, it looks like, water damage has like rotted away much of the cabinets, and like you go to open it and the door just falls off. And inside there's just this like mildewy, wet, rotten smell. There's like some mouse traps that have like mice stuck in them, but they've been there for like a little bit and they're like bloated and gross, and like the scent just gets drug out real quick as the fan is pulling the air through. You look in and there's like bottles and such, but
all right.
they're not like in great condition.
Sure, sure.
Maybe you could use your magic to make them better.
Yeah, I think I'd like to attempt that. I'd
Okay.
like to attempt some cleaning products to spill, um, just to freshen the room up. So I've got 2 successes and 3 not so successes again.
Nice. Since you are essentially trying to change a thing that is it's what its nature is, instead of you're trying to change it from something that it's not, like the window into the fan, this is actually simpler. And so you do notice that like there's a bottle of Windex which was kind of a murky black color. It looked like it had some weird fungus growing inside of it, and it just like slowly begins to swirl and turns back into a clean bottle of blue liquid. And there's like some other one, like some bleach and other sprays and stuff, and they all kind of clean up.
Okay. I'm gonna haul one of those Windexes out to the main area
Okay.
and try and like open it using my mouth and paw
Sure.
and let it just kind of spill a little bit.
Why don't we do that's a good why don't we do a claws check? Actually, you could do fangs or claws, whichever is better.
I'll do fangs. I have 4 in fang. I have 4. So we've got 3 successes.
Nice. Yeah, easily. You just like hold it down and kind of start moving it around, and you open it right up.
I'm just gonna let it pour out.
Okay. Why don't you make a tail check while you do that?
3 successes.
Nice. So as this Windex spills out, you know that Windex doesn't just like clean things, but you're hoping that like maybe the scent will help or whatever. But
Yeah.
you will it, like you put your magic into it as it spills out, and
Spread
it
out.
just kind of like it doesn't flood out or geyser, but it definitely has more of a sploosh to it as it goes out, and it pushes away this gross collection that is like built up on the carpet. And uh, like there's like some stray kitty litter that's been dragged across the floor, and there's like all of these dust bunnies that are just kind of everywhere, and this gross whatever somebody tracked in on their shoes. And it just like all of it just fades away as this Windex spreads throughout the living room, and it continues to push back, goes up the window, and the windows become clean. And as this effect is going on, Chairman Meow, what are you doing?
I have seen a lot of television, or perhaps better stated, television has witnessed me for many hours. I have presented myself in front of the television. And there were magical humans on the television. One was bald and wore a white shirt and jeans. And he would walk into a room, and everything would become magically sparkly, and the ladies would be smiling, and they'd be like, "Thanks, Mr. Whatever your name is." Can't remember the name of the product, but it was a bald guy.
Mr.
He was always
Queen?
smiling. Think
Mis-
so?
Mr. Queen? Something
Mr.
like
Queen, I
that.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I turn a lamp into Mr. Clean, even if it's like a short Mr. Clean?
You could try. I feel like that is a
Yeah.
an alter something to its not typical reality. But yeah, you could give it a shot.
I mean, because him just showing up, I think, typically makes people happy. It's just 2.
Just
Two
two.
successes.
Looking at the lamp, and you're trying to essentially animate it and turn it into this cartoon fellow, or this animated fellow that will, just kind of make everything better. And as you're doing so, Queenie's mom's head jerks in your direction. She opens her eyes, and in her eyes is just this kind of moving, milky, like mist, and it like kind of pours out a little bit, and the lamp just like snaps back to being a dirty lamp, and she slowly starts to get up. Are you still on her back, Cheese?
I am.
Okay. If you want to, I mean, you can try and like hang on with your claws, or you can like jump off as she's getting up.
I'll just jump off.
Okay. Doesn't seem to have any issue with the movement. She stands up pretty fluidly and begins to stalk towards Chairman Meow. I can't remember if there's initiative.
I'd like to get more products whenever it's my turn. I want to be like, hey, the cleaning solutions help. They're under the sink.
Nice. Let me just double check. Fighting non-cats.
Like, just douse the misses with bleach.
Right.
Don't worry about it. Totally healthy and fine.
So this nightmare-infested person is going to try and grab you, Chairman Meow.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
So you're going to want to do either a legs to get away or a coat, essentially to not be grabbed or damaged by her.
Two successes on coat.
Excellent. You just get like her hand comes down at the last minute. You just kind of roll over.
Loaf.
Right, and her hand misses. MacGyver has called out that the cleaning products are helping. What do you do, MacGyver?
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna scuttle. I'm gonna stealth paw
Okay.
over get some more cleaning solution and try and bring it back. But get it close to her, like under her feet, and spill it out and try and magically have it like splash on her, like spill out and crawl up her.
Gotcha.
So I would use my tail. Yeah.
Go ahead and roll it. I'll come back and get your thing in just a sec.
Okay.
Cheese, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go look for these cleaning solutions that MacGyver was talking about.
All right, so both of you rush in there and grab like a bottle of what's been altered by MacGyver's magic and bring it back in. What are you going to do with yours, Cheese?
I'm going to throw it at the lady. Yeah.
Okay. So both of you make... is your intent essentially to try and affect this creature that's possessing?
Yes.
Okay, so both of you make tail checks and let me know what you've got.
All right, I have 3 successes.
Perfect.
Like I want it like at her base and working its way up.
Okay.
I've got 2 successes.
2 successes. So as you throw it at her, and MacGyver throws it, at her base, both cleaning supplies, strike the form of the mother, and cheeses kind of like saturate her clothes and her hair and begin to like clean it, and it looks nicer and everything, whereas at the base it kind of wraps around her legs and goes up and begins to clean like her skin off, and as it does so, the pores that are like oozing out this mist stop as it like begins to go up under the skirt that she's wearing and the like tattered cardigan and the like undershirt that she's wearing. They stop like kind of oozing through the holes in them, and it gets up to the top where she has like her mouth open and her eyes, and they're like kind of pouring out this mist, and it tries to kind of fight back. I'm going to give all of you an advantage point
Oh boy.
for what you've done so far, and for the her rolls were really hideous, and so for this scene, the way it's been going out so far, you each have an additional advantage point. And it just kind of the cleaning solutions like meet and merge, and then like begin to pour into her mouth and her eyes, and as they do so, you can see like it washes away the mist that was in her eyes, and like her teeth become apparent and her tongue, and she's kind of choking for a moment, and she like hacks for a moment and looks around. She's like, Queenie?
Aww.
Oh, you're not Queenie. But she like rubs Captain Meow's belly for a moment.
That's
Sideways
amazing.
Right.
All right, but she's not awake from, like, she's awake and she's all right, but she's not out of her dream.
Correct. And you still notice that at the edges of where the fluids have like pushed away the nightmare, there's still like rotted areas, and the house is still infected, I guess is the best way.
Okay. Do things work like the lights in the house in this dream world? Like if we were to turn on a light, would that work?
So the lamp that Chairman Meow, I almost called you Captain Meow. Chairman Meow tries to tried to shift into Mr. Clean. That one has been on, but it's like kind of this low, dirty light that's just kind of flickering.
Okay.
It has turned into a brighter light since the cleaning fluids have like pushed away the nightmare. But in the other areas of the house, you do see that there are light switches and such, and there are like hallway lights that are in the ceiling, and the stairwell has like a light fixture on the wall that are off. So you could try turning those on.
Yeah, I'd like to try turning on as many lights as I can find. Just like pat, 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 jump.
So you can. Oh, okay. So you just want to physically do so and not like magically try to use your tail and turn them on.
Magically, let's try that. But I
Sure.
feel confident physically doing it too. So, we've got 3 successes.
Nice. Yeah, so focusing around, you hear click, 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 and each of the lights turns on. And in the areas where it's not really been cleaned yet, they do turn on, but they're very faint and just kind of browned out by like muck that's built up on the light bulbs. And they kind of flicker a little.
All right. Well, I wonder if we could use our power with at least one of the lights to make it extra bright. Like a flood lamp.
Cheese
Kind
and
of.
Chairman Meow, what do you think?
Yeah, let's try using our magic to make the lights brighter.
Now, can we combine magic? Like, 3 tails create the most magic.
I will give you each an advantage die to roll with your roll if you do that. But you have to
Yes.
say our tails unite or something.
Our tails unite, and they all like touch, even though like.
But like
our
all
buttholes
three of you have
like,
Starfish
like
unite.
that, but not like that.
So all three of you in unison have to say our tails unite.
All right, guys. 1, 2, I'm not going to be the only one saying this. 1, 2, 3. Our tails unite. I'm the only
Tails
one.
unite.
That was as synchronous as it's gonna get. So why don't
Alrighty.
all of you roll a tail check, and you're gonna add an extra die to your roll.
I get 3 successes with that.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Five successes.
Five
I got
successes.
Wow.
5
Nice.
successes as well.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So what light were you focusing on?
What would have been the brightest that
Okay.
we can tell. Like,
So let's
know,
say
is
that
it a
the stairwell light, when it flickers on, it is kind of like the least of the dim lights, and so you wrap your tails around each other and you focus your magic on it, and the light begins to like glow steadily instead of like kind of flickering, and the light becomes more clean, and it kind of burns away the dust and grime, and as it does that, it kind of evaporates the grime that's built up on the wall around it, and it just kind of spreads up and down the stairwell and then down into the dining room, and it kind of goes out of your vision instead of being in an area that you can see. It continues on, and you can almost hear it cleaning away the grossness that the nightmare has brought to the house. And Queenie's mom is just kind of watching the three of you, and she looks around and she's like, I think I'm dreaming, and then disappears.
Yes. Except we didn't get rid of the big bad, but we saved her.
Is the big bad still here?
The big bad is still here.
I mean, you don't see the big bad, but like, you didn't do anything that would have caused it, that would have caused its demise. Kind of like in the other,
Mm-hmm.
the
Like,
other
it didn't
dream.
like the projectile pooping, and it didn't like the light.
Show yourself, right meow.
Right, meow.
Right meow.
So, nothing appears?
Maybe a quick look of the house and maybe out the windows to see if there's like one grosser part than another.
Gotcha.
See if we can hunt down the big bad.
As you like stalk through the house, in areas that it hasn't quite reached, you see like this slow spreading of the clean areas taking over the grossness that the nightmare has brought, and it gets to a point where you aren't seeing any gross areas anymore, and you look out the window, and everything around here is pristine, because the nightmare was that this house, her house, was the one that was the grossest of the neighborhood and stuff. And so you look out, but there's this weird glimmer to the moon that's hanging in the sky, and for a moment you'd think, oh, it has the same, kind of dream-like pristineness of the house that that you're now in, and the neighbor houses and the street outside. But then you catch a glimmer that softly begins to like come through the window that you're staring out of, and it's almost like a haze, but it has like these sparkles in it, and it begins to coalesce on the floor in the shape of a silver cat with blue eyes. And it stops and it like licks its paw for a moment, cleans its ears. That was fantastic work.
Oh. Man, do we trust it?
No.
MacGyver doesn't trust it either.
Never trust a strange cat.
Like, who are you? Where are you from?
I forgot to come up with this cat's name. I apologize. I am Sable.
Oh.
Darkle Sable.
I am the speaker of the king.
What is the king trying to do?
The king is stuck in a nightmare. It is because he is stuck in a nightmare that he can't fight off this creature that you have chased away for now.
Oh my god, do we trust you?
Oh, what king? I didn't vote for him.
Whether you voted for the king or not, all cats know of the king of the cats that won the competition for you all to have the powers that you have to this day.
Okay, okay.
Oh, that king. Yeah. I still didn't vote for him. That was so long ago. That was like forever ago. Should go deal with that, I guess.
I would
Wait, no, one thing at a time.
bring you
Yeah.
all to Uthar, where the king resides in his dream.
Well, what do you guys think if they can help us fight this thing? Because you know our owners are probably asleep, being taken over as well.
Right.
Hmm.
Suppose it's the only lead we have.
Yeah. I feel inclined to go with Sable.
Jeremy doesn't look so convinced.
I mean, like, someone just shows up and I'm like, I'm an agent of the king, you know, like, do you got a badge or something?
Sable stands
How
up
do
and
we
turns
know?
around, and his starfish is exquisite. It is obviously a starfish of kingly level. Like, maybe not the king starfish, but
Which is, you know, like, you are truly worthy if you see the king starfish. But the other concern I have is that
Cats.
we are. I know cats. Do you love me, starfish? The other concern is that we are in a living room, a foreign living room, and if she's just woken up, and the dad is already like going, "What the hell about these cats?" We
but
may
are
be
you in
rudely
the living
awakened.
room if you stepped into Dream?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how
Okay.
that works.
Okay. I'm letting you
Uh,
decide, so
I
All
mean, I'm
right,
pretty
we're just
sure. I mean,
asleep
my
in the
physical
living
body
room.
hasn't moved, has it? I mean, like, if I were to wake up, I'd be still in my nest, loafing.
that is true.
Um, so, uh, we don't really have necessarily the safest positioning. I'm not really sure how time flows in the dream, if it's kind of like the realm of the Fae, where time is kind of like a mere suggestion, gesture sort of thing, or if,
Dream is
uh,
weird.
yeah, hmm. I mean, you do have, um, a royal starfish, so perhaps we should fight you. No, we won't do that.
Roll for initiative.
Finish him. Look at you with indifference for long periods of time. Oh no, Long Johnson.
Cheese, what do you think?
I think we should do it.
I'm game for that. MacGyver's on board to follow. Let's figure out what we can do.
Yeah, like I said, we don't have any leads currently, so we gotta go with what we got.
So Cheese and MacGyver go over and sit next to Sable and kind of eye you. What do you do, Chairman?
Yeah, so how does this work? Like, do we just like teleport or like
Oh, well, simply take the moonbeam.
cataport? Oh yeah, just simply take the moonbeam. Like, what does that even mean?
He looks confused for a moment. He's like, it means take the moonbeam. Where are you from? Oh, you waking world cats, I always forget. It is magic. It's like, what would you call it? An escalator. From here to the moon.
I mean,
Yes! MacGyver
Are
wants
there
to check it all out.
are there tacos there? Because
There
man,
are
has it
all of the
been
best street
a while.
tacos there. The vendors of Ulthar make the best street tacos.
I guess we have to go. There's tacos.
And he starts muttering to himself. He's like, they have fish tacos and beef tacos and goat tacos, and just like keeps like listing off tacos as your bodies begin to fade away and become lighter and made of sparkles and energy. And then slowly, at first, you begin to lift off the floor and you're pulled along this light, this shaft of light that goes through the window. You can't really see like the full beam that goes all the way to the moon. It seems like it's only brighter where you are, like bright enough to see where you are. But then as you go through the window, which gives you no resistance, you begin to speed up until the moon is just racing towards you. And there's a city that you can see as you're hurtling towards it, and it sprawls out across the surface of the moon. And as you soar down to it is really the best word for it. You see people moving around, cats like on rooftops jumping around. You catch whiffs of street tacos and like catnip and various others like appetizing and welcoming scents. And then there's a large building that looks somewhat like a palace, and you soar through it, like through the actual stone itself, and begin to recoalesce on the ground in a rather fabulous silver chamber. Or columns around you and statues of various cats. A lot of them are they remind you very much of like ancient cats that are depicted in when you see them on TV or in drawings and stuff. You know, it's usually has to do with Egyptian culture as far as the waking world goes. And you see that, like, a lot of these statues have similar stylings, I guess would be the word. And then the weight of yourself resettles in, and Sable steps away from you, his starfish glimmering just ever so slightly.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
So these are all like Egyptian cats.
You get the
Yeah,
feeling
or-
that a lot of the those that have been memorialized in statue are of that lineage. Yes.
Is the great orange cat who likes Italian pasta dishes here?
Of course he is. Yep.
Yep.
A,
my
a
favorite.
large pan of lasagna has been set in front of it.
Does he still hate Mondays?
He does.
Oh man, he's a cat to look up to.
Oh boy. Well,
As,
MacGyver
Alright, well,
wants
let's-
to know
let's find this
everything they know. Everything they know about this big, bad, misty thing.
so as
like,
you
let's talk.
as you kind of look around, you do see that at the end of this chamber there is like a very large cat bed. It's not really in a style that you have seen, but it's obviously a cat bed, as upon it is the form of a very large cat. But the form of the cat is kind of hard to see, as they're dripping off of it in large viscous chunks are these black ooey gooey bits, and they seem to like go up into the air and then just disappear.
Yucky.
And Sable goes up and like rubs his head on the sleeping cat, and then sits next to him and looks at you.
All right, so we need to enter his dreams.
Are we in the dream?
You are in dream, but you are Not in the king's dream. That is a special place that is very difficult to get to.
Have others tried?
Others have tried and not come back.
Oh boy.
But I'm what is the word I'm searching for? I am given hope by what you've done so far against the nightmare.
We are special, aren't we, guys?
We are.
Mm.
What do you think? Shall we enter his dream?
I suppose so. I mean, is there any sort of briefing that we need beforehand, or?
Well, for the time that you were there, I'm going to use what bits of magic I have left to enhance each of you.
Are there any other kitty wizards that could come along?
Those who have the ability to use magic in the ways that you can have already tried and have disappeared.
Mm.
Each of your
There's no way we'll fail. We're amazing.
each of your tales is nigh on legendary, and we have the Shepherd of the Dot here, and we have sorry, I can't remember the other two.
What's a projectile poop? Oh,
Yeah, we
jeez,
have
what's your-
we have a projectile pooper, and there's like a moment of like there's a pause after that one, and then Cheese. What is one of your reputations?
Scrapper.
Yeah, and a legendary scrapper who has been training with his human to deal with strange mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the three of you, when amplified by my magic, should be able to relieve the king of this nightmare.
Well, I would like to try. If it helps my owners.
Okay. So he jumps off the raised kitty bed and comes up to you and like rubs his head against yours. Choose one of your stats and it will be legendary until you wake.
Tail. 100% my tail.
So your tail has a stat of 6 and you can
It's-
do any of the dream magics until you wake up. Once you wake, it will return to its normal status.
Okay.
Then he walks over to Cheese, rubs his head against Cheese's. What stat would you like to have increased?
I will take coat.
Okay. So your coat is also at a 6. And so in Dream, it doesn't necessarily... your tail is the one that really has effects in Dream. However, getting a legendary coat in Dream, we will see what happens as far as any interactions that your legendary coat may affect. And finally, he walks over to the statue of a Monday-hating, lasagna-loving cat and begins to rub against it. Oh, wrong loaf. And then he finds Chairman Meow. Sorry, the likeness was uncanny. And he rubs his head against yours. What stat would
I
you
hate
like?
Tuesdays. And I like tacos. Tuesdays and tacos.
Taco Tuesday. Which actually was not a thing until...
I'd love Tuesdays, and then I like tacos.
Right.
Um,
Humans don't
I
know
love
this, but
Tuesdays.
Taco Tuesday wasn't actually a thing until you dreamed it up.
True. It's true. Been most of my my time dreaming it into every dream I could possibly do until
Right.
it spread. # marketing. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely go with tail.
Okay.
So we're gonna go into like catception.
Catception. There's just litter boxes
Catception.
like moving around and cat trees doing like their weird, funky, nice.
We gotta go deeper.
Each of you just feels empowered. Your tails glimmer or your coat shines just that extra bit more. And exhausted Sable just kind of like manages to drag himself over, and he lays next to the king's bed. I wish you all the best. And he slowly fades away.
Oh, Sable fades away like. Oh boy.
Not sure.
All right.
Yeah, you
All
haven't
right.
seen something like that before.
Oh man, it makes me feel bad. MacGyver's got like a tear in the eye.
It doesn't
It's
fall, but
touching.
it's there.
Yeah, it's there. There's one that's right there, and it was super touching. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right. So
All right.
MacGyver's gonna go right up to the king and loaf with
Okay.
its tail, with his tail just kind of touching the king's tail a little bit, and just
Okay.
loaf real hard and get ready to sleep.
Cheese, what do you do?
I will find a spot to loaf as well to
Okay.
get ready to go into the dream.
And Chairman Meow.
Chairman Meow is going to climb on top of the tray of baked Italian pasta goods and loaf on top of that.
It's still warm.
Oh yeah. Does it have a good smell?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, if
yeah.
anything, it's very refreshing after having been in the nightmares and around that nightmare that you have. It's like, it's a little slice of heaven. Or rather a tray, a pan of heaven.
And I mean, like, the orange large cat definitely had, a clear vision. And, I can respect it, but it's just unfortunate he never discovered tacos.
All right, so as the three of you hunker down and try to go to sleep, you've never tried this before. Usually when you wake, you just wake up and fade away from dream and go back to your waking selves. So you've never tried to go dream inside of a dream. But obviously it can happen as the king is locked in some kind of a nightmare. And so you kind of focus your thoughts on the king, and the two of you are like next to him and nearby in a steaming pile of lasagna. Chairman Meow was watching, and it's just very relaxing for a moment as you just settle into the dream within a dream, and nothing really happens. But then the king fades away, and the silver sheen of the walls around you and the statues and the smell of like fresh cat litter and lasagna, all of these fade away. There's no more like hints of catnip in the air, and that reek begins to set in, and the building starts to crumble, and holes appear in the walls as chunks of it fall out. An enormous rat made of mist and shadow crawls through one of those holes, and upon its head is a crown that's made of rust, and it eyes the three of you. Mine.
Oh, I don't think so. Now, is there? Oh my gosh, it's either like, pounce immediately or like projectile poop. Like, I don't like this. I don't like any of it. This rat is this stinking rat. You gotta get the rat off the streets. MacGyver wants to just turn around and projectile poop.
Okay.
Like,
Roll your projectile poop. And we'll call that the beginning
all
of
right.
the encounter. So
We got two
two
successes.
successes. So
Yes.
these beams of light go shooting out from behind you. You're not even sure what's going on because that's not how that typically works. It feels pretty normal. In fact, if anything, that felt pretty amazing. And they strike the shadow. Bits of the shadow kind of melt away, and the rat rears up and hisses.
That's what you get. There's more brewing. There's more brewing.
Cheese, what do you do?
I think I'm gonna pounce on it.
Okay. Go ahead and do you want to attack with your fangs or your claws?
Claws.
Excellent. So roll your claws, and I just need to double check because you're fighting a non-cat here. Same system. Okay, so it is going to roll its attack back at you.
I got 4 successes.
Nice. As your claws, do you say claws, right, or fangs?
Claws.
Okay, so your claws flash in silvery light as you strike out at this thing, and bits of its shadow just kind of fly off and disappear. In response, it just like tries to take a swipe at you with its foreleg. It will hit you once, so you'll take 1 scar to your coat. But remember, if you need 3 scars to drop 1 number down in your coat.
Okay.
So I don't think you had taken any scars since the beginning of the game, have you? I think Chairman Meow has.
I have not.
Okay,
So 1 scar to coat.
Yeah, so you currently have 1 scar to your coat.
Okay.
Chairman Meow, what do you do?
Well, I'm trying to think what the best way to deal with a mouse is. But it's big, right?
It is.
Bigger than
It's
us.
bigger than you, yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Like it's our job to get rid of mice. So I'm thinking probably mouse traps are not in my vocabulary. Let's see here.
Some poisonous
And
cheese, Gromit.
It's poisonous cheese. Can I manifest a larger cat? Can I bring forth the orange cat? He's not a very good mouser, but like he's big.
I believe you could, technically. So you would roll your tail.
Hmm.
Let me know how many successes you get.
That is 5 successes.
Nice. So the statue, which is, it was silver and now it's like this tarnished silver, so it has like that patina all over it, the tarnish, but it slowly turns orange instead, and like fur sprouts out of it. It's still smaller than the rat, but it's like 3 times larger than you. And this cat falls down. And looks around. What do you do?
Oh, yeah, I'm just now realizing that he had like mice friends and he hung out with them. Oh, damn it. Hey.
Oh, hey, what are you doing in my lasagna?
Oh, sorry, I was just borrowing it for focus. Delicious. remind me to remind you about tacos later. But for now, Nermal has turned into a rat and needs to be mailed off to a very far off distant place.
A rat, you say?
Yeah,
Is it a Monday?
it's a Monday.
I figured. And he looks around. Is it that rat?
Mm-hmm.
He'll mosey that direction. He doesn't seem to be all that, like, quick to do so, but he's heading that way.
That's to be expected. It's to be expected.
Okay, so the large shadow and mist rat reaches its head down towards Cheese and is going to try and bite Cheese.
Okey-dokey.
You can retaliate. Ooh, ouch. So essentially, when you're doing combat, you both roll your either claws or fangs,
Okay.
and then you take that many scars from each other. So like, he's gonna do a number of scars to you, and you'll do a number of scars to him.
Okay.
So you roll which one you would prefer, fangs or
Yeah, with claws. I got
claws.
two
Thanks.
successes.
2 successes. All right. Your claws again flash silver as you scrape away some of this nightmare ooze. However, it sinks its like dirty, weird, misty fangs into you. You're gonna take 4 scars. So your coat will drop down 1 because of that.
Okay. But do I still have the legendary coat, or does
Yeah,
it
so
drop to...
You still have the legendary coat. That's a good question. So what would a legendary dream coat do? Let's reduce. It actually is going to reduce the damage. So you took 4 there and you took 2 earlier. So it'd be a 6. So let's actually go back down to 3. Thanks for reminding me about that. Go back down to 3 scars. So it will drop down. It is still going to be considered like bolstered. So you're going to half your damage that you take.
Okay.
But if you have to roll a coat check, you're going to be at your 5 dice now instead of 6.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, he takes a chunk out of it, but like, if anything, it's like just a bit of the brilliance of the coat, like how you were kind of shining from this magic that Sable imbued you with. Some of that has faded away, but you're not necessarily hurt in a way that you expected to be.
Okay.
MacGyver, what do you do?
You know, I'm a little curious if I have like rations in my backpack. You know, like cheese or food items or catnip.
I feel like you probably have some cat treats in there and such. Maybe some catnip. Probably not cheese necessarily.
Yeah, yeah. Now, remind me. Now we've got mice that are friends and not foes.
No, so Chairman Meow awoke the statue of a certain large orange cat that
Okay.
has befriended mice in the known existence of
Yes.
that cat.
Okay.
But there are
Okay.
no, other than the large rat, there aren't any
The
other.
rat.
Right.
All right. I think that MacGyver feels confident with the projectile pooping and is going to continue to do that.
Okay.
Continue to like projectile poop.
All right. Roll your
See
dice
what-
for that.
We got 2 wins.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
So, Cheese, as you're standing there, more beams of light, and you can see there's like some kind of projectile in it, but it just goes by so fast that you're really not sure what it was. Strike the rat again, and more of its shadowy form melts away. What do you do?
I'm gonna keep clawing at, or yeah, clawing. Yeah, I think I was clawing.
All out melee. All right, go for it.
Yeah. Two successes again.
2 successes. Okay. So your claws rake away at more of its substance. It begins to make this like weird kind of mewling sound. Like it's not a rat sound necessarily. It's more it's more like a sad cat sound than it is a rat sound. But it does slash back at you with its claws. It has 2 successes, which means you'll take 1 scar to your coat.
Okay.
Oh, you know, one thing that we haven't talked about since the beginning of all this is your lives. So you can spend one of your 9 lives to stop a scar from happening, essentially. So should you get to the point that you don't want a scar to occur, you would spend one of your 9 lives to block that. Just for future reference, should you need to. You can do it retroactively in this because I forgot, right? Chairman Meow. You see flashes of light coming out of MacGyver's butt. You see Cheese going to like hand or claw to snoot with the rat. Your statue is ambling that direction. What do you do?
And I alter our own forms.
You can.
Ooh.
Can I make Cheese bigger?
You can.
Oh, I love this.
Like turn Cheese into Cheese. You're not a tabby, but you're an orange cat, right? You striped.
Yes.
So can I turn Cheese into a tiger?
Oh, nice. Yes.
Turn Cheese into a tiger.
Make it so.
Make it so.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes.
4. And can I roll? I'm gonna roll an advantage on that one.
Okay.
We have an advantage left over,
You
correct?
do. Yep.
Yeah. 5.
5 successes. Awesome. So Cheese, as you're like stepping back from having clawed the large rat, you begin to like grow taller. Like it's this weird sensation as your vision starts to get further away from the floor, and your eyes slowly come up to the level of the rat's face as it like has stood up on its hind legs. You look down and like your paws are massive and your claws are like these huge daggers sticking out, and you are a tiger.
Okay.
You're going to do extra damage with your claw and bite.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Meanwhile, the statue has ambled forward and is just going to like lean on the rat, almost like, just kind of push himself against it. Roll me 3d6s and let me know how many successes you get.
3d6. 1, 2, 3. 2.
2. The rat is having a harder time moving about as the statue is kind of like pushing it against the wall. It isn't quite it isn't quite grappled like a D&D thing yet, but it has a harder time biting and clawing at you, so it's going to get a little less dice to roll against you as it is in this predicament, unless it frees itself. Which it actually, with it being its turn, is going to try and do. It is going to try to like get away from the statue and push itself backwards through the hole. It does, the statue kind of like, you hear like a stone on stone as the statue hits the wall and kind of grinds it a little bit before it manages to like catch itself and right itself. And the rat has pulled itself back into its hold. You do see, oddly enough, like the glimmer of reflection of light from your, was it your coat that you had amplified, Cheese?
Yes.
So your glowing coat is putting off some light that's reflected in like the shadowy orbs of its eyes. So it is still there, but is like pulled itself back into that passageway. As we come back around to MacGyver.
We're gonna do it all over again. We're gonna try and projectile poop in the hole.
Sorry for my ice clinking.
We got 2 wins.
Nice. Pew pew, pew 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 pew.
Doing well. Pew pew.
As the light of the projectile poop lights up the hole, you see that like there is substantially less of the shadow that's like wrapped around this kind of misty form. And I feel like MacGyver and Cheese, you can see that held within the misty form is a cat. It's a very large cat, and you recognize it as the same form as what was on the large kind of elevated cat bed in the city of Ulthar.
The king of cats.
The king of cats.
Posing as a rat.
It's more like this, the form has like encased him, and as he's sleeping, instead of him like being like in a suit of the rat and moving around, so it's he's still sleeping, and it's like he's kind of cocooned by it.
Okay.
Cheese, what do you do?
Is there anything that I can do to try to, I guess, free the cat from this, I guess, cocoon?
You tell me, what would that look like? What would you attempt to do?
Let's see. I could try, I guess, severing the connection with my claws, but I don't want to hurt the king, I guess.
Okay. So you kind of want to like try to use your claws to like cut into the nightmare and then grab the king and pull him out?
Yeah.
Sure. Why don't you do your claws check and add a die for being a tiger? And then you have, I think you have 2 advantage dice still. I could be wrong on that, but you should have advantage dice if you want to add them to it.
So I could just add 2 more?
Yeah, so you could add up to 3.
Alright, I will do that.
Okay.
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. So it is going to try and bite back at you. It is in a bad position, and that is none. That is nothing. You carefully, like, you swipe your claws, your paw towards the rat, but then as your claws pierce into it, you push gently forward, and like instead of like piercing into the king, you just use your claws to like snag his fur and begin to pull back out. Make a legs check for me. Oh, and add 1 die. Sorry, I forgot. You're a tiger.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
Nice. There's kind of a slurping noise, like he's being drugged through goo, and you can feel like even though as you pull your paw out and your fur is not wet, it feels like your hand is wet inside, like he's in some kind of goop, and you pull him most of the way out. Like his head has come out, his front legs pop out, but there's still, like, his back half is still in it.
Okay.
And with that, Chairman Meow, what do you do?
Well, let's see here. We've got ourselves a tiger, and we've got ourselves a legendary orange cat who hates Mondays and eats lasagna. Doing stuff. I think it's time for Red Dot.
Red dot.
This newfound power. It's not about unleashing the red dot. There is no red dot. Use your mind to bend the red dot, I think is how that works. So we're just going to put a big red dot underneath this rat.
Okay.
I'm going to will the floor to become a red dot.
Go ahead.
A big old red dot.
Roll your Shepherd of the Red Dot and add a die.
Red dot. There's my ship for the red dot. Okay. Add a die. One success.
One success.
Yes.
Can I
one
help him
success.
somehow?
Not really. Not with this.
Okay.
It doesn't heed my call.
You feel something happen, but you don't see a red dot appear.
Maybe it's too far away. Maybe it has finally like escaped, or it can't exist in the dream within a dream. We must go deeper.
Into the dream within a dream within a dream.
The dream of the red dot. Where is the red dot to go into its dream? Or next turn. Next turn.
So with the King of the Cats hanging partially out of its shadowy form, the rat lunges forward and tries to like latch its jaws onto your neck.
Oh hell no.
So that is 3 successes, rounded down, we'll call it 1 scar to your coat. And you can retaliate, so you can do either your fangs or your claws in return.
I'll do my claws.
Okay.
So, 5 successes.
5 successes. So you lash back out with your claws, and the silver light like burns into the streaks that you leave across the rat's face. And as the light kind of begins to pour out, you see a paw, like a cat's paw, stick itself out, and then it kind of widens the gape, like the gaping wound a little bit, and it like you see a cat head push its way out.
Birthing.
This
He's
cat
birthing himself.
This cat looks a lot like Sable, like has a similar look to him. And another cat paw sticks out from another one of the cuts, and then another one. And these cats slowly, and not all of them look the same, they start to, like, you start seeing several different kinds of cats as they start to push themselves out. Some of them look familiar from, like, in the hall you saw statues of these legendary cats. Some of them are complete strangers, but they all begin to like push their selves out of the shadow, and then they fall forward and land in the dream that you were within. And they say, thank you for saving us.
Oh, huzzah! You are the cats of legend. Where's the king? Which one of you is the king?
And they turn and they look. They're like, "Oh God, it's still here!" And they like run behind the tiger and like turn and face it. That would bring us to, I think, MacGyver's turn. Sorry, I lost track there.
Yeah.
MacGyver. So you see this thing. It's like emanating light as these cats have climbed out of it, and it seems to be shrinking. What do you do?
Ooh. You know, the projectile pooping has been working for me. Now, I think I would like to turn into a venomous snake. Can I do that?
You can change yourself.
So I've got a good tail score. I'd like to turn myself into a venomous snake and
Okay.
just go right into that hole and bite as much of the creature part that I can discern.
Okay. So roll your tail plus an extra die because of the imbuement.
Right, we've got only 2 successes from that.
I mean, to change yourself, all you needed was one. So, whereas like you wanted to turn into like a snake, your head takes on like a serpentine like look, and your body becomes like a snake like, but you're still like obviously a cat snake as you like go in there and like wrap around
Like
and you bite
snake
into
with ears and like
right.
fluff at the tail.
So go ahead and make a fangs check.
Fangs. Fangs. Okay, I've got 4 for fangs. We've got 3 successes.
3 successes. All right. How does this shadow
Ooh.
end? How do you want to do this?
Snake head comes bursting through because it's still in its little hole, right?
Right.
So you still have to like get in there. Snake head bursts through with a big ol' hiss, but the snake has like fluffy ears and like a little fluffy tail bit at
Right.
the end that just kind of poofs, almost like a squirrel, like, you know, angry cat. So it's all like buzzed out. And it goes right up to the rat and coils itself around its like, you know, whatever it can discern that's its body. So you trying to get its like face and head, and like literally bites into its eyeballs as much as it can, just like over his face. I'm like, argh,
Okay.
and that's it.
So as you do that, and you can see as you're wrapping yourself around that like the inky shadowy substance of the nightmare has like tendrils that go into the more misty quality of the what's surrounding the king. But as you bite down, those who are back and can see this, see that like silvery energy like injects itself into the shadow, into the nightmare, and it screeches, and it's almost like the rat body lets go of what seemed like it was a part of the rat's body, but now it falls to the floor, and this misty like vapor disappears from around the king, and the like rat continues to shrivel up while this like poison magic is being injected into it, and it slowly just shrivels away and then disappears.
Ah!
And the cats around the tiger cheer, and the statue goes, "Yay!" What do you all do?
So can we tell if like, so the essence part, did it like flee or is it like lingering, even though like the rat puppet body is like
Right.
dead?
So you take a moment, you look around, and you saw the body disappear, and the we'll say like the corruption and the rot that has like caused the room to look the way it does in this dream slowly begins to fade away, and like you slither forward into the room, and the hole that you were in like reassembles itself, and the lasagna fills back up and is fresh, and the statue of the cat that worships the lasagna, or rather, yeah, you know what I mean, walks back over and raises a large slice and puts it into his stony, furry mouth. And the cat bed reconstitutes into like the one that you saw in the dream. So it does seem like the nightmare has been vanquished. As far as you can tell, you could roll face checks, which are your senses, to
Face
note,
check.
yeah, to note if any bit of the nightmare has gotten away.
I only got one success on a face check.
Okay. Is anyone else keeping an eye out to see if any of the nightmare lingered?
Yeah, I got 4 successes.
Nice.
Just one. Just one.
So, Cheese, as you're... I feel like calling you Tiger right now is actually more fitting. Tiger Cheese.
Tiger cheese.
As you are watching all of this happen, and you watch the nightmare withdraw from the dream, and the dream reasserts itself, by the door, it's almost like a little moat of darkness as it sucks into itself and disappears. Maybe a little moat rolls out the door, and it's gone, but you're not sure if it is gone in the way that it was destroyed or if it escaped.
Okay, and I guess there's probably no way that I could discern that.
It definitely, like, if you like pad towards the door and you look out and it's gone, there's definitely no sign of it that is over this dream within a dream city, and there's sense of cooked lasagna and tuna and like all of these things that are in this dream city of the dream city. So its influence is definitely gone, but whether any bit of it survived, who knows? And with that, the king's eyes slowly open, and he blinks and looks around, and he smiles at the cats that are kind of standing around him, and he stands up and looks at all of you. And as he fades away, he says, "I just had the strangest dream." What do you do?
I was going to say we should go deeper, but it's gone.
About this time,
Tarsus.
there's a roaring noise, like of something vast and massive and moving at incredible speeds, as a red dot rushes into the room and like comes to a stop.
Oh my god. It has returned. I shall pounce on it, which is not a very graceful thing to look at. As my spryness has left me many years ago.
You can roll either a legs or a shepherd of the dot check.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Here we go. 4 successes.
4 successes.
That's
You
amazing.
jump upon it. You don't see it. You definitely landed where it was.
Did I absorb it? Is the red dot inside me now?
I mean, that is obviously
one
what
with
happened
red
the
dot.
last time that you caught it.
Still got it. Still got it. The dot within the dot is the dot, and I am the dot, and the shepherd of the dot.
All of the cats around you are staring at you in amazement, and they slowly fade away as well.
too much for them to handle. It's like an existential crisis.
Right?
The dot.
It's like a top spinning, but then the screen shuts off before you can find out if it falls over or not.
And
Catception.
and as you're all standing there and you're looking at this room, your focus kind of shifts. Like your point of view kind of shifts a little bit. You're in the same room still, but now Tiger and Cheese and MacGyver are both laying on the king's bed, and Chairman Meow, you're sitting in the tray of lasagna as you wake up, and you see several other cats that are like waking up and getting to their feet. And on the dais, on the bed next to you two, a large Sphinx cat sits up and stretches and yawns and looks down at you.
What was that? I don't think it's gone. What was that?
What was what? I just woke up.
Oh boy, you were taken. You were taken to another realm in your sleep. This is horrible.
Oh, well, that's most disconcerting. And he looks around. Where's Sable?
Is Sable around or is
You
Sable
don't see
gone
Sable.
now? No.
Like
MacGyver
the red
still
dot,
has.
he's part of us.
But several of the other cats come up and they bow and they're like, Your Highness, we tried to rescue you, but our magics were just not strong enough for the beast that captured you. Oh, was that not a dream? Strange. We will have
It's
to
not a
investigate
dream.
this. And some conversations happen, and it becomes apparent to the king that he was trapped within a nightmare, not of his own making or control. He offers you each a boon.
A what?
A boon, something that he can grant
Boon.
you as king of the
Ah.
cats.
Ooh.
There aren't really boon systems in this, and so when you get your experience at the end of this, you're going to get an extra experience that you can place wherever you would like, for leveling up.
Wow. Okay.
But essentially, that will be his mark upon you. You are now marked by the king. You can add that to your reputations,
Ooh.
and you will have one die in that. Actually, let's do it this way. You're going to gain a reputation marked by the king.
Okay.
You can use that die to add to any of your rolls.
Ooh.
I feel like there should be a limit to it,
Yeah.
but since we're not actually sure we'll come back to these ever, we'll go with for now that's what it can do. Maybe it can do it like a couple times per day or something.
Now, is there an oracle cat in this crazy cat land?
I mean, that was
You think
Sable.
there's-
Sable was the oracle protector of the king. Who knows what happened to Sable? Maybe if we do come back to this, it'll be the search for Sable.
Oh, sweet Sable.
It's
There's a
like
tear just lingering.
Cat Trek, the search for Sable. So as you wake in Queenie's house, is the last place that your waking bodies were left. Two of you are on or behind the chair. One of you is like behind the plant in the corner, kind of cuddled up on top of a bunch of fuzzy toys, and you can hear some conversation going on between Queenie's mom and dad as they're like sitting down. You can smell that they've made coffee, and the two of you that are on the chair You can see them right away. They're in the dining room and they're just like talking to one another about this weird dream that they had and what was going on and how strange was that. And you see Queenie just like figure eighting around their legs, rubbing herself against them. She's like, oh, you guys are awake. And she comes bounding over. Oh my God, it is so good to see you.
There, Queenie.
Thank you so much for
That
bringing
was
my parents back to
exceptionally
me.
difficult. And I don't think the big bad is gone for good. I think it's still out there.
I have faith in you, and I think you're amazing. That was awesome. Thank you for bringing my parents back to me. And if it ever comes back, I know who to call.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
And you hear
Hey, you guys.
a flapping noise as Gremlin creeps in through the door, the cat door. And Queenie turns around and she's like, yes, Gremlin, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for bringing them. They have succeeded in their mission that I sent them upon. And she turns around and winks at you.
Oh my God. What is the state of affairs out there? Are other humans waking up? Or are they still asleep?
Yeah, they're all waking up. I was trying to swipe some more stuff from the store, but his owner, and he kind of like says it like you're his property. You're this human's property or something. His owner like chased me out with a broom, so I didn't get anything. But yeah, they're awake.
Well, that's good to hear.
Refrain from getting into a fight in this house. Refrain from getting in a fight in this house. Too old for this.
So what do the three of you do as we come to the end of Cat?
I think we should ask for some catnip.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think
Like,
we should get some catnip.
Queenie leans in
Yeah.
and is like,
Yeah.
oh, you are set up for life. Anytime you need extra catnip, just let me know. I will send it over. And if it doesn't all arrive, you let me know and I will totally tell him what's what.
That's awesome. Yeah, we need some catnip. I think we need to figure out if this thing still exists. So we need to find like the most psychic cat we can find. If there's some cat in the neighborhood that's known for its psychic abilities, we need to be friends with that cat.
Nice. You can definitely keep your ear out for any sightings of it or strange behaviors and boggins. When you're in the dream, you will know what signs to watch out for from nightmares that are occurring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you all head back home?
Yeah.
All right. As Chairman Meow walks into the store, you see, I think his name was James. James is like mopping up some milk from the back, and he bends down and gives you a scritch, and there's like some milk in a bowl that he has set aside for you, and he moves it out for you, and he goes back to mopping. And across the street, you manage to get the door open with your ingenious sock tool, and you let yourselves in, and Tony is sitting on the chair still, and now his eyes are open and he's like flipping through channels. The zombie movie is over. Now he like clicks over to QVC, which is what was on Queenie's parents' TV when you left, and he's like, nah, and he keeps going through. He doesn't hear you as you sneak in, but you check on what was the daughter's name? Do you remember?
Oh boy, that's such a good question.
You check
don't
on your child's state,
little person.
right, to make sure they're okay, and they seem to be sleeping. There's no weird scent to their dream. There's no nightmare that's lingering. And that's where we'll end. Good job.
And we dance, dance,
did it.
dance, and we dance, dance, dance.
That's right. And if your cats don't dance,
There are no kitty cats.
something,
Ain't no cats of mine.
right?
No.
Or if your dogs don't dance. I can't remember the lyrics exactly to that well-known song, The Kitty Dance.
The kitty dance.
Right.
Oh boy.
From
And
the
the dance
90s,
dance.
right?
Dance, dance.
The 90s, or was it the late
I
early
think that
2000s?
was. I think that was 80s, wasn't it?
Well, one of those legendary songs,
Right.
That's copyrighted, was written in the 80s. The other one, I'm not sure if it's copyrighted, but it is early internet era, so really is kind of the people's meme.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, that was awesome though.
Thanks for playing. I appreciate it. It was fun checking this out. I think it was John that recommended this. You had said that you saw this. So thanks for the recommendation. It was fun to play through. Super simple system with a lot of ability to just kind of like interpret things as you go along.
I think now that I know things a little bit better, I would play differently and maybe not be a projectile pooper. But
I mean,
it sure worked out this time.
you know, in a meta sense, when I was planning this, I wanted to show off that there are things that are dream and there are things that are waking world, and so your waking world projectile pooping totally made sense when it comes to like showing down against other cats or dogs that might chase you or something. You know, like when you're dealing with the more reality of
Oh my god.
the system, totally makes sense. In Dream, chasing off a nightmare, not necessarily, but when you had your magic enhanced poo, projectile poo,
That's
that was
where it was at.
I feel like it was like
magic
full on
enhanced
TIE
poo.
fighter in there.
Yeah.
Laser starfish.
Amazing laser starfish.
Right? Well, is there anything coming up for any of you that you want to share for our adoring public?
Not that I can recall, except there is a Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek
Next-
on not the coming
Something we're gonna post.
the 13th of May. We'll be playing Star Trek in the evening here on this channel, our ongoing once a month Star Trek Forefront. It's been a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens as my character is currently ordered to put all of your characters in the brig. So that should be fantastic. We'll see how that goes. Mick, you have anything coming up?
I do not.
All right. Well, John, do you have anything coming up?
Sunday is Everyday Heroes.
It is.
Ah,
So that is at. It was just in my head too. I believe it is at 3 p.m. 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Something like that.
Time zones.
Yeah, time zones.
are complicated.
Keep an eye on my Twitter or the Twitch here for more on that. And then this Saturday, we also have Sentience, which is a new system, rather a new setting within the 2D20 system by Modifius by Al Spader, who's going to go ahead and run it for us. I'm super stoked about that. Follow me on Twitter at WHPubs to get more announcements as far as that goes, or just subscribe here on Twitch, Wanderer's Haven, and you will get notifications when we go live. So, anything else?
that's it for me.
All right. Well, thanks so much for playing, and we will see you all. Meow.
Meow.
It works for
Meow.
everything, right? Meow.
Yeah, meow. Meow, see? Wait, I'm waving. Meowing.
I'm waving.
All of the meows. Meow.